If you can't control your emotions, people will control you. There is a silent pattern shaping your behavior, your relationships, and even the way you see yourself. And the most dangerous part is that it doesn't feel dangerous at all. It feels comfortable, familiar, safe. But psychology shows that what feels safe is not always what protects you. Sometimes, it's exactly what slowly weakens you from the inside, without you even noticing the shift. If you've been feeling stuck in the same emotional cycles, overthinking situations that should have been over, struggling with relationships that drain more than they build, or noticing that your habits keep pulling you back into the same mental state, then this video is going to speak directly to that pattern. Because what looks like just a habit is often something much deeper. A behavioral loop that quietly shapes your personality, your decisions, and your emotional stability over time. In this video, you're going to understand why this toxic pattern feels so comforting at first, how it gradually rewires your responses in relationships and daily life, and what psychology reveals about breaking out of cycles that keep people mentally stuck. Stay with me until the end, because once you recognize how this mechanism works, you won't be able to unsee it in your own behavior or in the people around you. Stay with this until the end, because most people don't even realize they're doing this every single day. And it's exactly what keeps them stuck in the same emotional loop. It usually starts in the smallest moments. You send a message, then immediately feel the urge to check if it was too much. You replay the tone in your head. You scroll back just to reread something that already passed. Nothing dramatic is happening on the outside, but inside your mind, it feels like something needs to be solved right now, even when there's nothing to solve. And weirdly enough, it doesn't feel like anxiety at first. It feels responsible, like you're being careful, like you're staying ahead of problems before they grow. Almost like holding a flashlight in a dark room so nothing surprises you. But here's where it gets tricky. The more you do this, the more your brain starts to believe that normal situations are unpredictable. A delayed reply doesn't feel neutral anymore. It starts to feel like distance. A short message doesn't feel casual anymore. It feels like something is wrong. And slowly, without noticing, your mind starts filling silence with stories that were never actually there. It's like your thoughts become a translator that's always working overtime, even when nobody is speaking. And the strange part? The world outside hasn't changed that much, but your interpretation of it has. That's the shift most people miss. Because once your brain learns to stay in this always checking mode, calm moments don't feel calm anymore. They feel suspicious, almost uncomfortable, like you're missing something important. You tell yourself it's just awareness, just being observant. But over time, it starts feeling less like clarity and more like pressure that never fully shuts off. And what makes this even more complicated is that this habit doesn't stay in your head for long. It starts changing the way you move through people, conversations, and even silence itself. And that's where things begin to feel different without you realizing why. And here's where things start to shift in a way most people don't catch until it's already affecting everything around them. Because once your mind gets used to scanning for meaning in every detail, your relationships stop feeling simple. They start feeling like something you have to decode. A short reply doesn't stay short anymore. It becomes a question in your head. A delayed response doesn't stay neutral. It turns into a space your mind rushes to fill. Not because something is actually wrong, but because your brain has learned to treat silence like uncertainty. You're sitting there, phone in hand, and it feels harmless at first. Just checking, just making sure. But emotionally, something else is happening underneath. Your attention starts tightening. Your thoughts start speeding up. And suddenly, you're not just interacting with people anymore, you're interpreting them. It's subtle in the beginning. You might not even notice it. You laugh at a message, then immediately wonder if the other person really meant it the same way you did. You reread a conversation hours later, not because anything changed, but because your mind is still trying to confirm what it already saw. It's like your thoughts don't trust the first version of reality anymore. And this is where relationships quietly start to feel heavier, because people around you are still acting naturally, sending messages, replying when they can, living their own lives, but inside your head, every gap starts to feel like a signal. And when everything starts feeling like a signal, nothing feels relaxed anymore. Even good interactions come with a background layer of doubt you didn't ask for. What makes this even more confusing is that from the outside, nothing looks wrong. You're still talking, still connecting, still showing up. But internally, something changes in how you experience those moments. It's like being in the same room with someone, but the atmosphere feels slightly different depending on what your mind is doing in the background. And slowly, without any clear moment where it starts, you might notice yourself holding back a little more, not because you want distance, but because you're trying to avoid the emotional guessing game that follows every interaction. So you pull back first. You wait longer to reply. You observe more than you express. And that's the strange part. The more you try to avoid confusion, the more distance quietly builds where connection used to feel easy. But what really makes this pattern dangerous is that it doesn't stop at relationships. It starts shaping how you see yourself inside those relationships. And that's where things begin to feel even more personal without you realizing why. And this is where everything quietly turns inward. Because at some point, it's not just about how you interpret people anymore. It starts becoming how you interpret yourself inside those moments. You're still having conversations, still showing up, still going through the same daily interactions, but something subtle shifts in the background. You start catching yourself before you speak, rewriting your own responses in your head before sending them, second-guessing not just others, but your own perception of things. And over time, that creates a strange internal habit. You stop trusting your first reaction. A simple moment like someone not replying quickly doesn't just stay external anymore. It lands inside you. And instead of thinking, they're probably busy, your mind starts building layers of meaning around it. Not because you want drama, but because your brain has been trained to look for patterns everywhere, even where there aren't any. And slowly, without realizing it, you start describing yourself through that lens. I overthink things. I just need clarity before I can relax. I'm not really good at dealing with uncertainty. It sounds harmless when you say it, almost like self-awareness. But what's really happening is something deeper. Repeated emotional reactions slowly start shaping the story you tell about who you are. And the tricky part is this version of you feels accurate because it's based on real experiences. But it's incomplete. It only reflects you inside moments of tension, not the full picture of how you actually operate when things are calm. So what happens next is subtle but powerful. You begin to expect this version of yourself. In conversations, in relationships, even in quiet moments when nothing is wrong. It's like your mind starts preparing for emotional noise before it even arrives. And that expectation alone changes how you experience everyday life. A normal pause in conversation doesn't feel neutral anymore. It feels like something you need to interpret. A simple interaction doesn't stay simple. It becomes something your mind wants to categorize, explain, and understand instantly, even when there's nothing to decode. And the longer this continues, the harder it becomes to separate what's actually happening from what your mind has been trained to anticipate. But what most people never notice is that this isn't permanent by default. It only feels that way because it becomes familiar. And familiarity has a way of disguising itself as truth, until something interrupts the pattern long enough for you to see it differently. And if you really step back for a moment, you start to see something that applies to almost everyone in a quiet, uncomfortable way. Most people aren't struggling because life is constantly chaotic. They're struggling because their mind learned to stay on alert even when nothing is happening. And when that becomes your normal, peace doesn't feel peaceful anymore. It feels unfamiliar. But here's the part that changes everything. The same mind that learned to stay in that loop is also capable of learning something different. Not by forcing control, not by shutting emotions down, but by noticing when your reactions are louder than the situation in front of you. Because in psychology, what feels automatic is often just repeated. And what is repeated can be interrupted. So maybe the real question isn't why you think this way, but how many of those thoughts are actually describing the present moment, and how many are just echoes from older patterns still running in the background. And once that distinction becomes clear, the way you see your emotions, your relationships, and even your own personality starts to shift in a way that feels subtle at first, but changes everything over time. If you made it all the way here, you already noticed something most people miss. Awareness changes how you see everything, even the small patterns you used to ignore. Now I want you to do a few things before you leave this video. If this message connected with your experience, subscribe to the channel because this is exactly what we talk about here. Real psychology, real behavior, and the patterns that quietly shape your daily life without you realizing it. Leave a like if you want more videos that break down human behavior in a clear, practical way. It helps push this content to more people who actually need to hear it. And comment below the number that you felt more connected to in this video. 1, 2, or 3. I read those comments, and it helps me understand what topics hit deeper for you. Also, don't leave yet. There's a video on the screen right now that goes even deeper into how your mind builds emotional patterns without you noticing. Watch that next because it connects directly with what you just learned. And if you're serious about understanding how behavior and relationships really work, there's also a full playlist on the channel covering these psychological patterns in everyday life. It's all there waiting for you. See you in the next one.